So the first game of Wild Card Weekend, it felt like a fourth preseason game. Then Seattle went to work, and then Pittsburgh went to work, and even the final showdown between the Packers and Giants was a little bit meh. But there was a great college football title game last night, CFP College Football Playoff Championship game last night. Clemson with the late winner over Alabama, 35-31. Wow, incredible game. So James and I are going to recap this weekend of football, and let's bring him on right now. James, how's it going?
Pretty good, man. A little tired from staying up late last night, but that was a hell of a game. One of the best I've seen of any football, NFL or college. It was great TV, and I know the entire country was talking about it. So I'm doing good. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, and just to kind of, just to kind of answer what you were saying there. I think the best game I've ever seen, Rose Bowl, USC Texas. That's on a lot of people's, top of their lists, but. This was right up there, and there was a lot of the same characteristics from it in terms of storylines. So a little bit like it. So back in 2006, you had USC and Texas. They were number 1 and number 2 the entire season, and this was a game that was being built and looked forward to for a year. It was a year in the making, and then they went out and they had that type of game. And last night. The difference here, there's some wrinkles here because we had a rematch of last year's title game, and you had a Clemson team that was just kind of going through the motions during the regular season. You knew watching this game last night, you knew this entire season for Clemson.
Yep.
They just went through the motions. All they cared about was these playoffs, and they went and they dominated these 2 games against Ohio State, and they didn't dominate last night, but a dominant type of performance to even hang with Alabama. Alabama's been routing everybody. So to see that type of performance last night, mesmerizing, one of the best games I've seen, and that includes the Rose Bowl that just took place less than a week ago.
Yeah, I mean, all year I was pretty much thinking it was going to be Bama. I didn't like the way Clemson looked. I didn't really see a team that could hang with them. But leading up to the game, I mean, maybe it had something to do with them firing Lane Kiffin. I just had this feeling that this was what Clemson was preparing for all year, and maybe that was why they didn't look as good because their mind in the back of their head, it was this rematch. And there's something about Dabo Swinney, man. I love the way he coaches. He coaches with such real passion and joy, and he just knew the team was going to come to play for him. And at halftime, it didn't look too good, but Clemson rallied, and Deshaun Watson, like you were comparing him to this game of the Rose Bowl of 06, he looked a lot like Vince Young out there, leading his team from behind, and just his play. He elevated his play to the level it needed to be to win, and it was a hell of a game.
Yeah, it really was. And there have been a lot of doubters surrounding Watson this year and his NFL draft status, going through a season where he didn't play well. He had a great 2016 or 2015 season, I guess, and then had an amazing national title game. And my argument all year was like, well, I want to see him what he does in the title game. I kind of took everything that he was doing with a grain of salt. The poor starts, the poor play. I was just like, all right, let's see what he does when it actually matters, because it felt the whole time like this Clemson team was just going through the motions, and they really did get away with a lot of shit. Because there were some games where field goal kickers weren't able to kick field goals less than 30 yards that would have sent Clemson off the map and not allowed them to be in this college football playoff. But last night, Deshaun Watson, poised, calm, composed, everything last night. We saw the ball accuracy as well on some of those throws. I mean, Jesus Christ, letting his receiver go up and get it. Mike Williams was outstanding. Yeah, sure, there were some throws where Watson was off or whatever, but that happens in most games out there. But a lot of these throws, man, woo! NFL-type throws. Don't tell me he's not the best quarterback prospect in this draft.
Oh, for sure, and a weak quarterback class. I mean, if he has a good offseason and a good combine, there's no reason he can't go top 10, because there's going to be at least one that goes top 10, even if none of them have top 10 grades. And how about that linebacker? He was a defensive player of the game. I can't remember his name, but his post-game speech, man, that guy was fired up. I'd love to play alongside him. That guy's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of talent on both sides of the ball last night. And Watts, we talked about this last week. This draft class is not very good at quarterback. Mitch Trubisky is raw. I'm not a Deshaun Kaiser fan. So in a lot of ways, you can look at Deshaun Watson like this. He would not be the number one quarterback last year. Last year, he might have probably been the third guy. So you can view him as almost like a Paxton Lynch type. I'm not a Paxton Lynch fan, but I'm just saying like he'd be like the third best guy in that class last year, I think.
I don't like Lynch either. You know that. I don't like Lynch either. I'm on the same page with you. I don't like Kaiser. I like Watson better than both of them. I'm not sure how effective he's going to be, but there's something about a quarterback and winning, winning ability, leadership ability, and he's got both of those. So can't teach him.
And then just to add, Dak Prescott was number 4 on my list last year, but I love Dak coming in. So, kind of hit on him, obviously. And last night I called the Clemson win too. I've been like all year I was like convinced that Clemson was going to beat them.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely did call that. You liked them before I did, and something I just had a gut feeling. Yeah. I actually, won a little money last night. So
there you go.
Good.
Bills, maybe.
Yeah, but
all right. So we talked a little college football. Now we'll move on to the NFL since that's strictly pretty much what we do here at the Bitter Birds and on this show. So, all right, wild card weekend. We'll start off with the Green Bay game, and I want to start with this. Aaron Rodgers has turned the Hail Mary into an art. I've never seen anything like this before, where to complete 3 Hail Marys in less than a year is incredible. And he throws literally the most catchable Hail Mary pass you can receive, you can haul in. The way he just flips that ball up in the air, the trajectory that it has, and to be able to land into the end zone, because everybody gets down there by the time he throws this ball and it lands. So you'll see like this group of like 6, 7, 8 players, and it's like 3 to 4 Packers there able to catch this pass, and they've done it 3 times now in a year. It's unreal.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching him last year and just marveling at the fact that he's able to do it not once but twice. And this year, I mean, I remember I was watching it at my buddy's house, and I sit there and I'm like, all right, watch out. This is Aaron Rodgers' thing, and they could really use this going into the half. And what do? He puts it right up in the back of the end zone. It lands right in Randall Cobb's basically lap. Doesn't even have to jump for it. And if you see, it looks like a defender almost pushes him a little bit to the end zone and puts him right into place for the ball. It was insane, man. It's just, to do it that many times, it's not coincidence. It's not luck. They practice it, and that's skill. And, you just got to take your hat off to him. He's one of the best we've ever seen do it, and he's probably the hottest quarterback. He is the hottest quarterback in the game right now, and I'd be hard-pressed to think of another streak like this in NFL history with a quarterback doing this well and basically saying it. He basically called it before everything happened. 4-6. Look at them now. They've won 7 in a row, and they're about to go spank Dallas.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely spanking Dallas. They're going to take them back to the woodshed and do their thing. That's for sure. And Rodgers, man, the ball accuracy was on point. The one wheel route just comes to mind where it just whizzes by the defender's shoulder. It goes, right into the hands of the receiver. The fact that they scored 38 points against that Giants defense, that Giants defense was playing really, really good football the last couple of weeks, and for them to see – the windows that he was fitting his touchdown passes to. Rodgers was on point. He was on the money. And they turned that game into a rout real quick there in the second half.
Yeah, and I think in the first half I remember seeing a stat like Green Bay had like 20 yards of offense. And I'm sitting there going, here we go again. New York's freaking defense is going to take them into the playoffs deep. And I'm going to be wrong about Aaron Rodgers and have to think that I was biased. But no, we were both right. He turned it on, and they spanked the Giants. None of us thought it would be a blowout, but we thought Aaron Rodgers would prevail. And the guy, it's just incredible to watch the footwork and mobility in the pocket, the timing and chemistry with the receivers. And I think this guy coming out of college, his release was pretty bad. If you think about it, the way Cal coached him, he kept the ball up real high and this slow, exaggerated release, and just 3 or 4 years. I think he was on the bench for about 3 years. He comes out. He has one of the quickest releases in football that the NFL's ever seen, and that just gives me hope for young quarterbacks in the game like like our guy Wentz. You think if he can fix his release was good in the beginning of the year. If he can fix what his errors he started picking up later, I mean, there's no reason he can't reach his full potential too. And it'll be interesting to see his trajectory.
Yeah, like he literally held the ball up here, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I got a little thing of toilet paper.
There you go. Yeah, I mean the guy's on fire, and I really do think Dallas is going to have their hands full. The only thing that is concerning is the Jordy Nelson injury, and he's probably not going to play. I think he's got 2 broken ribs, and I mean I don't care how tough you are, 1 week, man, especially in the playoffs, it's going to be tough. He'll be nothing but a decoy if he does play. Yeah,
no, I agree with that, and that is a big loss for them. Although I do think at the same time Rodgers is on this level of greatness where he's playing right now. That I mean, 4 touchdowns against the Giants, like it was easy. It was easy.
My God. The second half, he made them look like they didn't belong out there.
Yeah,
and it does suck for the Giants. They had a couple drops, which I don't know, man. I mean, you can say whatever you want about what they did Monday in Miami, but I don't think that affected them. I think that all week people talking about that being a distraction, the fact that they were talking about it became a distraction. And you'd think a guy like Odell, the spotlight don't bother him, but he was dropping balls he should have caught. Granted, a couple of them were a little overthrown, but Odell Beckham Jr. is an all-world talent. And, to drop those balls early in the game, that's just letting your team down. And a guy like that needs to step up better. And Sterling Shepard had a couple drops too. Granted, he's a rookie, but, when your best receiver, arguably your best player, isn't coming to play in the biggest spotlight, what do you expect the rest of the team to do?
Yeah, I agree with that point in terms of it became a distraction as the week went along, because all they heard were all these questions about it. And all of a sudden, it's putting all this pressure on guys like Odell Beckham and that wide receiving core, knowing that they have to deliver, knowing that they have to, shut up all the haters about this picture that came out. And this is a point I've made about the Cowboys heading into the postseason. It's a different animal. And some players that haven't experienced postseason success yet are just having their first postseason game. Sometimes it's a struggle for them. Odell Beckham, we saw it. He dropped a couple passes. Some guys can handle it. Some guys can't. And we don't know right now, like looking a week ahead, Dallas and Green Bay, are Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott going to feel some of those, things that Odell Beckham did where, a little nervous, and we'll see how Dallas can handle the pressure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, Zeke did have some good postseason performances in college, but the NFL is completely different. And I mean, 2 guys I know will come to play, Sean Lee and Des Bryant. They'll both have their A games, but it is the rookies. And Zeke's had some fumbling issues this year. And Dak Prescott, I mean, Dom Capers likes to bring the blitz, and he hasn't played well when the pressure gets to him. So what Green Bay needs to do is jump out to an early lead and make Dak have to beat him. Can't let Dallas have 7 points and just start churning those freaking wheels and letting Zeke run behind that offensive line. They need to jump out to an early lead and make Dak throw. And then Dom Capers can pin his ears back and send his guys, and it'll be fun to watch for us because I don't think Dak will fare too well if that's the case.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if Dak's going to make me eat my words because he's the guy that I would be concerned about. Zeke, maybe not so much because having that postseason success at Ohio State, I think that does make a little bit of a difference in this situation. And for him to basically carry the Buckeyes to a championship when they won it all in that first college football playoff, I think it means something. And I think Zeke will have a big game. Now, in terms of the Packers defense, they stop the run a lot better than they do the pass. Mm-hmm. So that works in favor for them. They're not the greatest run defense in the world, but it's a lot better than what their pass defense is. And, we saw Odell Beckham and Sterling Shepard get open and not being able to make these catches. So is that going to be a little bit different in Big D? We shall see.
Yeah, definitely. And, I mean, the fact that they put up those numbers against the New York defense, Dallas' defense hasn't been terrible all year, but definitely wasn't playing to the level New York was at the end of the season. So I think it'll be if Green Bay – excuse me – if Green Bay wins, I think they'll have to put up probably like high 20s, at least maybe 30 points. But I think they're built to do that. And with the way we've talked about throughout this whole show so far, Aaron Rodgers is on a mission, man. And I don't care who he goes up against right now. It's tough to bet against that guy.
Yeah, no, I agree. And And Dallas has like an improving secondary. They got some guys that I like. I mean, this rookie for them, Anthony Brown, has been outstanding. 6th-round rookie, I believe, from Purdue. And Mo Claiborne has taken a next step forward for his career. Always was considered a bust until
He's
this
active.
year. So, yeah. So I don't know if those guys are, going to be able to hold up their end of the bargain. But at the same time, if Jordan Nelson isn't playing, I'm curious to see how well that Dallas secondary can do against those receivers. And, obviously Rodgers is playing on a different level right now. So even if you blanket these receivers, he's still fighting it, fitting it into these tight spaces, which is just remarkable. Can't stress that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you can't get much better than the way he's been playing.
Yeah.
We both picked them against Dallas last week. We both have them winning, and I feel good about that pick.
Yeah, same. All right, moving on. We'll kind of combine 2 games into one. Who had the more impressive performance, the Steelers or the Seahawks?
They were both very impressive. I expected both teams to win by a lot. I just have to. It's tough, man. They're both so impressive. I'm going to go with the Seahawks just because of the fact of how well they ran the football after their offensive line struggles in the regular season. I didn't expect Thomas Rawls to go off like that. I mean, I know the guy's a powerful runner, but he broke Beast Mode's playoff record for rushing yards in a game, and they were straight just dominating Detroit in all facets of the game. Their defense played incredible, and I know they have the great home field advantage in Seattle, and it'll be a different animal this week in Atlanta, but man, did they look like the team of years past, and I feel like NFC teams are definitely sweating. On the other hand, Pittsburgh, their offense looks almost unstoppable, but I mean, Miami, their defense was playing pretty good, but I'm not too blown away with Miami. And with the team of that offensive caliber, you almost expect them to do that. But damn, man, Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, oh my gosh, I'd kill to have them here in Philly.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Yeah, for me, I actually thought Pittsburgh had a more impressive performance, but it's like apples and oranges, like which one are you really going to pick? Because for me, I thought the Lions made a lot of mistakes that made it look like Seattle, like Seattle played it well, obviously, but I thought Detroit made a lot of mistakes, which made the final score look worse than it could have been. If that makes any sense, I mean, it was still a thorough beatdown. But yeah, the Rawls thing, because obviously Seattle, that's been a team that's been struggling to run the ball all season long. They got him back, and all of a sudden that running game is shot upwards, obviously. And Rawls is a guy, man. People last year were saying, well, it's the scheme, the reason why he had this big year. Well, it turns out this year has proven those people wrong because they haven't been able to run the ball when he's not in the lineup.
Exactly.
So Thomas Rawls, undrafted rookie last year, and yeah, he's incredible, and they might have found their answer to Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, I mean it's I guess it looks good if you're a Seahawks fan. I mean, that's the type of football they need to play if they're going to win in the postseason. And Russell Wilson looked great throwing the ball. I mean, this guy Richardson, I can't remember his first name, but he looked good.
Paul Richardson, yeah,
Paul Richardson, yeah, that's his name. He looked good because I know Tyler Lockett's out, and of course Doug Baldwin did his thing. I mean, that guy's got to be one of the most underrated receivers in the league, and I'm guilty of doing it myself. But 2 years of his productivity, it's time to put him in the conversation of one of the game's best. And yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh, man, their offensive line is very good. A lot better than I gave them credit for. I know throughout the season they were looking good, but had some rough patches. And how about Alejandro Villanueva, man? He was a chip guy brought into our camp. Now he's starting left tackle for Pittsburgh. How about that?
Yeah. Well, at least Chip was smart enough to bring him in, I guess, but not smart enough to keep him. Yeah, dude, that Pittsburgh O-line, man, that line was like in shambles like 2 years ago. Like not even that. And for them to really take that drastic turn like that, pretty good. And I mean, they've always had players, but the guys would always get hurt, like Marcus Gilbert and you had David DeCastro, you had Pouncey there at center. So these guys would, the the cohesion was never built because they never all played at the same time. Somebody was always hurt. But now they're all kind of healthy. They had a great year. Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown were unbelievable in that playoff game. Now, for me, it's like the reason why it's apples and oranges is we didn't expect Miami to put up a fight. So this type of scoreline was almost expected, almost. Like, I thought it'd be like 30-13, so it was more than I thought, I guess. But still the same type of beatdown that we were expecting. And actually, the other game, I thought Detroit would actually kind of make it a game. So it's funny how I picked the Seahawks not being the more impressive performance here.
Yeah, I mean, and just to add something, Pittsburgh, man, that linebacking core is fun to watch. When Shazier's healthy, he's flying around the field and freaking there. I mean, say what you want about that hit on Matt Moore. I think it was definitely illegal. Like, it definitely should have been a penalty, but I don't think there was bad intent there. I mean, it's tough to. It's really tough to adjust when at the speed of the game. But, it sends a message. It's a physical defense. They're going to hit you in your mouth. They're going to make you not want to freaking take the field. And that's what you need in the playoffs. So the Kansas City game I'm really looking forward to because it's a game I was kind of flip-flopping with last week making my prediction, and I really think it could go either way. It depends how Kansas City comes out. Pittsburgh's going to be ready to go.
Yeah. Marcus Peters against Antonio Brown is going to be awesome.
Oh, man, it's going to be great for viewers, man. It's going to be great for them.
You got Mr. Tetris going up against Peters. And then Le'Veon Bell going up against that front seven. Like, wow. A lot of awesome matchups coming up in this game. And, I've been taking the Chiefs all season long. That was my preseason pick, Chiefs and Patriots in the AFC Championship. So I'm going to stick by it. I had Pittsburgh and Kansas City meeting up in this divisional playoff in my predictions as well. So basically, if you want to know everything that's going to happen before the season, all you got to do is just look at the pick.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's props to you. That's awesome. Definitely Kansas City was a team people were talking about before the season. But if they do beat Pittsburgh, I know most people are taking Pittsburgh in this game that I've heard of and seen. Yeah. And we're both taking Kansas City, and I'm usually one to discount them and not think they're as good as they actually are. But it's just tough to bet against Big Red off a bye, man.
Yeah, that's my argument.
Yeah. He's going to have his guys ready to go. And Pittsburgh's going to have to take the game because Kansas City won't beat themselves.
Yeah. Well, in the NFC, I not that I butchered it, but I took the Cardinals to go to the Super Bowl. So.
Who the hell saw their decline, man? I can't believe what happened to them this year because last year I thought they were going to be the hot team in the playoffs and have a legitimate shot to go, and they just fell apart. And it's probably just look at what the first guy on the list is Carson Palmer.
Yeah. I thought
bad year.
I thought the Cardinals were the best team in the NFL last year. I thought they were even better than the Panthers, even though Panthers were going through the season undefeated, all that. I thought the Cardinals looked better. When I watched both those teams play, especially when you watch that Philadelphia game.
Yeah.
Like, they made it look easy.
No, they looked like the most complete team in football for sure. They had a running game. They had receivers. Palmer's playing great. Their defense, you couldn't find a weakness. They had a good run defense. Their pass defense was definitely one of the best in the league. Having Honey Badger and Patrick Peterson in your defensive backfield, you're pretty much set already, Yeah.
Yeah, and David Johnson didn't even fully emerge yet.
Yeah.
Oh
my God, David Johnson, man. You can't say enough about him, dude. I didn't expect him to be as good as he was this year. I thought he might decline a little bit, and he looks even better.
Yeah, he was another guy. If you watched our, I guess 2 years ago this would have been. That was like my big sleeper at running back.
Really? Oh, damn, nice, man. I gotta start. I'll talk to you next year going into fantasy drafts. Give me some rookie sleepers.
Dude, I'm just see when I say all the good stuff, it makes me look better than I am.
Yeah, because you can't bring up the bad ones. I thought Thurl Green Beckham. I was hype about him when we got him. This guy just doesn't even belong on a football field.
You know who I like coming out? Nelson Aguilar. So I'm not right about it.
Yeah, true. I liked him too. I thought Jake Locker would be decent too, and he sucked.
Yeah, so I'm not always right, but seems like when it comes to quarterbacks, though, I'm kind of right. We'll see. I like Carson Wentz. I didn't like Jared Goff. All right.
Same.
Yeah. Now to the game that. How much time are we really going to spend on this game? All right. All we really need to talk about is Jadeveon Clowney, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the guy, I was texting you during the game. I know you were celebrating Ukrainian Christmas.
Yeah, so I watched it later, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is a force, man. He, as a former lineman, like I would be afraid to go up against. Well, not afraid, can't be afraid of anybody. But that guy, man, he's gonna freaking hit you. You better double team him because he's a freak. I mean, there's players on his own team saying he's the best player on the team, not J.J. Watt. You look how good Khalil Mack is. He went all pro at 2 positions last year. There's still NFL execs saying they would take Clowney over him, and that game's exactly why. Find me a player in the league with this size, speed, and strength combination. If he keeps his head on straight and doesn't get hurt, there's no reason why he can't go down as probably one of the best D linemen ever play. He's got everything there. He's just got to put it together. And I think this season he's started to.
Yeah, everyone was jumping the gun on him being a bust. And even last year, I didn't think he was as bad as everyone thought he was. And obviously this year he's, taking that leap. And obviously in that game, I mean, wow, yeah. He was unreal. So, yeah, people jumped the gun on Jadeveon Clowney. And, that's the type of society we live in. We're quick to judge, especially in this type of era. I mean, even if you're a quarterback now, you struggle in year one, you're already considered a bust. Mm-hmm. Hell, I'm falling victim to it. I think Jared Goff is a bust. So, but to see Clowney bounce back, man, he's looking good. As long as he has that work ethic, he can be one of the great ones.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be some nice, healthy competition between him and Watt on that line because I think that's always good if you have two guys, like especially in the same position, just competing. Oh, I'm going to outdo you this time. Oh, I'll get you. I'm going to do better than you the next time. And I mean, Watt, his work ethic's up there, so there's no reason Clowney shouldn't follow through with that. Another thing I noticed in the game is, they actually threw the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. About freaking time. Where is that, Osweiler? Sorry to all the fantasy fans or players out there who drafted Hopkins in the first round, but, I mean, he's a talent, man, and if they're going to have any shot against New England, they're going to have to run the football, which they did, not too effectively, but they ran it, respectively, and they're going to have to get the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. Bill Belichick's known to take the best player on each side of the ball out of the game. And I said right after this, I don't expect Clowney to do anything against New England because they're just going to scheme him right out. And same with DeAndre. They're going to make, I think, Brock Osweiler beat him and take Hopkins out of the game. So, I mean, we both expect this game to be a blowout, and that's exactly why.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I just quickly looked back, that draft. It was, with the Texans. If you remember – back the Reggie Bush draft, and everyone in Houston wanted Vince Young, and they went and drafted Mario Williams. It was a similar type of situation here. Not really similar, but a little bit, because people really like Vince Young, but in this draft it was like Blake Bortles was the guy, and when they took Clowney over him, and one of the main reasons why is that tandem of Watt and Clowney. I mean, if that force becomes unblockable, all of a sudden you don't have to worry too much about the offensive side of the ball. You just got to find your quarterback. And Bill O'Brien is supposed to be this quarterback whisperer, but he hasn't found one yet.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's what everybody says, and you got to give him someone to work with. And maybe Osweiler isn't the most talented guy, but they paid him like he was. So, all right, Bill O'Brien, get something out of him. But, yeah, I mean, dude, if Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt stay healthy and perform like, we expect Clowney to and Watt has, it's going to be a top 5 defense every year, especially with Cushing and McKinney on the inside there. They have some good cornerback play. I know Kevin Johnson's played a lot better. And that guy, A.J. Poye, I think his name is.
I like A.J. Poye.
Yeah, and he's going to be a free agent, so he's probably going to get paid. They were talking about the Eagles taking a look at him. I don't know. I'd have to look into him more, but he played good on Saturday. So, I mean, this defense, and Vince Wilfork's going to retire eventually, but he's still there, and that guy's a freaking house. So, I mean, it's going to be scary in the years coming because I think Watt's, 28-ish, and Clowney, very young. Yeah. I mean, they should have those two guys for the next 4 or 5 years at their peaks.
Yeah, man. The thing about some of those pieces, dude, like Whitney Merciless is very underrated.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, Whitney Merciless, and like you were talking about McKinney, and I do like AJ Boye a lot. See, I haven't looked at anything into like estimated costs because like I don't see my thing about free agency is like I like him. He's an under the radar player, but I don't want his price tag to be driven up so much.
Yeah.
Like I don't want this to be like some type of Justin Forsett situation where I always thought he was kind of an under the radar guy. Then he had this big season. All of a sudden, you overpaid for him, and then the next couple of years, he was like, he's out of the league now. And I've just seen situations like this too much. Even if you go back, another example is like Roddy McLeod. Like Roddy McLeod's that under the radar guy. We all love him, and then you see how much money he gets, and you're like, wow, like did he really deserve that much money? So that's what I'm curious about when it comes to AJ Boye. Obviously, the Eagles need cornerbacks.
Yeah, I mean, I heard on the radio today, it's just like the Eagles are, we haven't had too much success with the big name signings, but we have had success with kind of under the radar guys. Like they gave an example, Barwin and Malcolm Jenkins, like they weren't looked at as these, A grade, like major splash free agency signings, but they both played very well. I mean, Jenkins has been playing great for us, and Barwin, I mean, besides this season, he was a beast for us. So he had like, 17, 18 sacks one year, I think. And that's unbelievable. So they suggested, maybe the Eagles look into this guy, but I mean, his price tag shouldn't be too high. But I mean, if he plays good against New England, it's definitely going to drive the price up, and you don't want to overpay. You're always going to overpay a little bit, I think, in free agency, but you don't want to overpay, especially for Poirier, who like could just be a guy, playing well right now. I don't know how he's played all season, and also seeing how Eagles defensive backs are coached, who knows.
Dude, I've liked AJ Boye for a little while. He was really under the radar last year because last year he wasn't even starting for them, but he got opportunities because guys got hurt, and he did really, really well. So now he's like, still doing well, and yeah, I'm curious to see what his price tag would be. I don't think it'd be astronomically high. I don't think people know who AJ Boye is.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you our viewers, they don't even know who he is. So
probably not. Yeah, I mean, if we could get him here as a number 2 guy, and not too expensive, that wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, because my plan for cornerback, I want them to draft a bunch of them because the class is so deep and rich in talent. So, like, I want to go in the middle rounds, like second or third round, whatever, draft 2 of those guys. And then even draft or sign one in free agency, but not sign a big name because you're cash strapped. I want to spend big money on like a wide receiver, like a Jackson or Jeffrey or Pryor, whatever guy you want. So cornerback, I'd go, if his price tag is manageable, he's a guy I would definitely consider signing. I like Boye a lot, so I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, definitely with cornerbacks. I mean, you draft a couple, maybe two, 3 of them. You're bound to hit on one. I mean, look what happened with Jalen Mills, man. I mean, we got him late, and I think 7th round pick, and he looks like he belongs in the NFL. So, I mean, if you get guys that can contribute in like the 4th, 5th round, nothing wrong with drafting a 3rd or 4th corner. Even if I think we have a decent amount of picks this year, don't we? Like later rounds.
Yeah. It's we're really not like pick strapped. We're not favored his way to get us draft picks. So I think we have a 2nd this year, right? And then next year we may not have one.
And we got our 1st round pick, so we really only lost a 2nd round pick.
If you want to look at it that way, yes, that is correct. And so like because cornerback is the biggest hit or miss position there is out of all the positions. So in the 1st round, I don't technically want to draft one unless there is the best player available is a cornerback. Like I want Dalvin Cook or Leonard Fournette or even Mike Williams if Mike Williams is there because he's the best receiver in the class and there's not too many other guys besides that. Some people like throwing Corey Davis out there. Some people like saying John Ross. They're just whatever guys. So
Mike Williams is a game changer.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think Davis or Ross are game changers, and so I would kind of pass on those guys. So that's the way I look at the 1st round. If those guys are taken, then sure, go cornerback. But cornerback is a very, very tough transition to make, and we've seen so many 1st round busts. You can just go down the list, and so cornerback is a position I'd be a little bit wary of drafting early. But if you But if you draft two guys, you hit on one. And that's the thought process in drafting a pair.
Yeah, I mean, I like the way you think about it. I've been actually all year saying we need a corner. I want to go corner in the first round, given how deep the class is. But come to think of it, you kind of changed my mind just right there because there have been so many busts in the first round. I mean, I thought of guys in the first round have been drafted, but Patrick Peterson comes to mind as a guy that wasn't a bust.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a lot of guys, especially early, that panned out and turned into superstars. But you look at all these corners that are like the best in the game. Richard Sherman was a 5th round pick. I mean, Poya, he's not a stud, but he was a 6th round pick. I think Malcolm Butler, he wasn't an early round pick.
Undrafted.
Yeah, undrafted. So it's a lot of it. It's really like you got to coach technique. The technique of the cornerback position. It's so important. And a lot of these guys get away with athleticism and just physical skills, and they go to the NFL and they can't get the technique down and they don't pan out. So it really is. It's a lot of coaching, and yeah, you have to have the physical ability to play, but I mean, and maybe an underrated aspect of it's the mental aspect of it. You know, Richard Sherman's probably one of the smartest guys in the league, and I guarantee he'll say what makes him good is his preparation.
Yeah. I'm looking at some cornerback classes right now, just real quick. So somewhat I'm right, somewhat I'm not, I guess. But like 2015, I'm dead wrong because you look at all these guys are pretty good, except for Trey Waynes. Trey Waynes is he's good, but he hasn't reached Marcus. He hasn't reached Marcus Peters' level. Kevin Johnson was a 1st round pick for Houston. He's good. And there was another one. Where is he?
I think a lot of it, they're starting to evaluate corners more too because it's becoming more of an important position in the NFL. Yeah. So I think the evaluation, they're changing it. So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe there will be less busts early going forward.
Well, the one that always comes to mind for me is Justin Gilbert, the Cleveland Browns cornerback.
Yeah.
That was 2014. You look at some of these other guys in the 1st round. Kyle Fuller. He's solid. He's kind of tapered off. He tapered off from his rookie season. Darqueze Dennard from Cincinnati. I mean, he's okay. I love Jason Barrett, San Diego cornerback. Yeah, and you got Bradley Roby here.
He's good too, man. Who knows? Maybe there have been some, but none of them are like lockdown stars.
Except for Peters. Yeah, I'll go one more draft on this subject. We'll see. Now I'm being proven wrong a little bit. But okay, never mind. I'm right. D. Milner and DJ Hayden.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to even in like the 2000s, like the mid to late 2000s. I think if you look at those classes, you'll see a lot more.
Yeah.
You remember his name, but the one guy that comes to mind, and obviously it's an organization known for bad picks, especially with speed, but Oakland, they drafted a corner. I think he was like really, really fast. They reached on him a little bit, and this guy sucked. Can't remember his name at all.
You're not thinking of DJ Hayden, are you?
No, this was like mid 2000s, like going back there, man. It's just I just remember because I remember hearing how like this guy had all the physical ability in the world, and he could run. Like, he ran like a 4.25 or a 4.3, and then he just couldn't cover anybody. I can't remember who it was. It's going to kind of bother me now.
It's going to bother me too because I don't know if I'm going to find it in time.
I'll find it. You can go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, so those 1st round cornerbacks, you were either going to hit on it or you're going to bust on it. And so, because like in that draft as well, you had Desmond Trufant and there was another guy, I forget his name, Xavier Rhodes. So obviously those two guys are all pro.
Fabian Washington.
Oh, okay. See, I wouldn't have thought of that off the top of my head, though.
Yeah, that was way back. It's like 11 years ago now. Oh, it was a little farther back than I thought.
That's really not way back for me, but maybe for you. I know you.
He sucked, man. He couldn't play at all. But, granted, they also had, like, Buchanan in there who was okay. I think Woodson they drafted, and he was obviously a beast.
Yeah.
But, yeah, going back to what you were saying.
Yeah, and another point to my argument is if this class is deep and rich in talent, then a guy you get in the 2nd round is almost like a 1st round value. So you can grade out a player having 1st round talent, even though you draft them in the 2nd or even 3rd round. So that happened last year with defensive tackles. There was a lot of great defensive tackles that came out, and And you were getting guys in the third and fourth round that were like fringe first rounders. So if you can get a pair of those type of cornerbacks that have late first round, early second round type of potential, you grab a pair. You hope one of them really pans out, and that's just what it is. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more. I mean, definitely a position need on our team, and yeah, just hedge the bet. Don't take one, take two. Maybe take some late round flyers and see if you can hit on one.
Yeah, and even wide receiver, they might do that too. Take like, two guys in the middle rounds as well. So, just seems like, because that was a report I saw today. Again, a report. So there's going to be a lot of reports flying around. So don't listen to everything. But the report today was Howie Roseman is looking to add 3 new wide receivers. So,
yeah.
I mean, obviously they need to. I don't know if they're going to go with 3, but obviously a complete overhaul of the wideouts is coming, it seems like. Maybe.
Well, yeah. I mean, they say 3, people are going to jump to immediately, oh, we're going to draft 2 and sign a big name. No, we might draft 1 and sign a big name and then, replace Dorial Green-Beckham with a 4th guy because, Matthews is our 3rd. And that guy might just be, some journeyman receiver, but he'll help, And here, the guy that's flying under the radar, I think, he's starting to be talked about a little more. And I don't think he's going to cost too much money. Robert Woods wouldn't be a bad addition, I don't think, for our team. Obviously not a number 1. Number 2, like he's a maybe. I mean, I always liked him, his ability. I don't like that he was in Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo's offense has been good, but not great. But I just like he's a physical receiver. He's got good hands. I think that if for the right price, he wouldn't be a bad fit.
No, I actually kind of agree with that name. I never thought Robert Woods was like terrible or anything. So I think what's going to happen is this. I think they're going to settle for Deshaun Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I think Terrell Pryor's price tag might be too high for what they want to spend, and Alshon Jeffrey might be the same type of deal because they are so cash strapped. That's the reason why I don't know if they'll go after Jeffrey or not. Jackson might be a guy that's like, I don't know, $7-8 million a year instead of like Pryor and Jeffrey that might be like $10 to $11 million a year. So that extra $3 million, it helps, I guess, for this cash strapped franchise. So maybe they go that route. I'd rather have Jeffrey or Pryor because they're younger, and Jackson's going to be looking at 30 by the time he starts his career back in Philadelphia, if that's the case. So if you sign him, it'd be like a 2-year deal with a third-year option or something. So I'm really curious to see what they're going to do because the guy that I want might not be the guy that they sign because of money reasons.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on what we do with Barwin and Peters. Whether we're going to cut them, re-sign, or restructure Barwin. I don't think Peters is going to be willing to restructure it first. But if you think about it, he's not going to get anywhere near the amount of money he'll get here, even if he does restructure. I mean, he's a 34-year-old left tackle. I think 34 with injury concerns, durability concerns, obviously. And I mean, the Eagles are going to have to look at it like he very well might be a Hall of Fame player someday. I think he's definitely going to be in the Eagles Hall of Fame. But we're so strapped for cash. I think Lane is ready to move over to left tackle. I like the play of Big V at right. But we'll see. I mean, getting rid of Peters leaves us no depth at tackle either. So they've got their hands tied because I don't like what we did with Dawkins, and I think Peters has been a very important part of our success or lack thereof. I guess we've had a little bit of success, but I mean he's been a staple in the franchise, and I don't like to just cut guys like that. So I would like to see him restructure. I think Barwin's definitely going to. He seems like he really wants to stay here, even if it is as a reserve role and taking a lot less money. But yeah, until we see what they do with those two, I think it's going to be impossible to tell what they'll do in free agency.
Yeah. I think Peters is coming back for whatever the price tag is going to be. I think that's just what it is for that. And Barwin, I can see a restructure because if they don't, I think they'll cut him outright.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, they'll definitely cut him if he won't restructure.
Yeah. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. And there are so many holes on this team that it may take more than one offseason to fill all of them. So, there's a process to this. Trust the process.
Yeah. Right.
All right. So, you got any other final thoughts before we head out?
What are your predictions for this week? Are you sticking by your guns pretty much, thinking,
Uh,
New England, KC?
yeah, I figured because we made our predictions last week, we didn't really have to make them again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sticking with everything I picked.
Yeah, I got Kansas City, I got New England, I've got Green Bay, and I still have Atlanta. That to me is the biggest coin flip game
Yeah.
this weekend is Atlanta and Seattle.
Yeah, Atlanta and Seattle, and then Pittsburgh, Kansas City. Both those games, they're going to be great to watch. Green Bay, Dallas will be fun to watch too. But I feel good about Green Bay even without Jordy. And New England.
Yeah.
New England. The interesting thing is going to be, can they cover the 16-point spread?
Yeah, right.
I saw that and I laughed, man. And then I considered that maybe I'll put some money on New England. They might win by 30.
Then I'm thinking to myself, well, they're probably going to win like 34-10.
Yeah, I mean, they were the best scoring defense in the league this year too, which has gone very unnoticed.
Yeah, no, it has, and I've even taken shots at the Patriots defense where I'm like, well, they can't pressure the quarterback, and if you let somebody like a Big Ben stand there all day, the Steelers might be the one team that has a shot against the Patriots. So, yeah, we shall see. As for my final thought, I really got nothing. I mean, I loved the game last night, so I didn't think the Rose Bowl was going to be top, but I thought that was a better game than the Rose Bowl. There's actually defense played in this game.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was just great to watch. I'm glad like I said to you earlier, I didn't sleep the night before. I don't know why, and I was tired going into the game, and I fell asleep like in the second quarter. But I woke up literally as the fourth quarter started, and I saw them score, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I can't believe I woke up. I was so happy, and It was one of the best games I've ever seen, man. And congratulations to Clemson. I'm so happy for Dabo Sweeney, Sean Watson, all those guys. It's just a great win, and Bama will be back next year, so they can take one loss.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, Dabo Sweeney, definitely one of my favorites in the country. The other one is Mike Gundy, because he's a man. And he's 5 now. And he has a mullet. His mullet is awesome.
Yeah, he's a riot, dude. That guy. Yeah, it was funny. Did you see the coaches, like they did the one with the coaches room, that one broadcast? Matt Rule was on there, and Adazio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had all like 5 coaches kind of just talking, breaking down the game as it happened. I think it was on ESPN3 or ESPNU, and I flipped to it because it's really interesting to hear what they have to say. And yeah, Matt Rule was on there, and I don't like that he left Temple, being a Temple grad, but it's tough to hate on the guy. He's such an intelligent guy, and he's a very motivational guy, and he really did help our program. So props to him.
Yeah, you knew that this was Temple is a stopgap program right now, and
yeah,
obviously 3 coaches now have departed. Obviously the thing that comes to mind with Matt Rule is that speech he had last year where he's like, "Well, I'm not going anywhere." Da 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 da. Every coach
that was tough.
Yeah, and it's tough to swallow, but like every coach says that.
Yeah.
So, you knew it was coming. It was hard on the people that were naive and thinking that he wasn't going to leave because he said that. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, we knew because we've actually follow college football. The people that just follow Temple and kind of maybe were just students there might not expect him to leave, but like you said it perfectly. It's a stopgap program till we get our own field and just have sustained success. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, until more than 5,000 people show up at the stadium.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think having a stadium on campus would really help that too, because just the bus ride down to the link deters people from going, and the fact that it wouldn't be the link, it would be like 20,000 people capacity. It would look better on TV. Seeing the upper sections just empty, man, that's not good for the program.
Yeah. Hey, at least it is better than what it used to be. I used to be able to show up hungover like midway through the first quarter, sit at like 5 rows up in the fifth. This was like 10 years ago.
I mean, my first year, they won 2 games. So,
yeah. I was like, I started back 06, 07, so those years were definitely not very good. They might have combined to have 1 win during those 2 years.
Yeah, man, it's amazing to see how far they've come in 10 years, and we, as both of us, hope they just continue to succeed. And I think we got a good coach, the guy we hired. So I'm excited for Temple.
Same. All right, that's James Worthington. I'm Adrian Fetke. We're out. Let us know in the comment section below. What are your predictions for these games? Do you think I'm an idiot? Do you think James is an idiot? Do you think we're fucking awesome? I don't know. Whatever you want to say below. I'd be happy to engage with you guys. So we're out. Peace out.